गं गणपतये नमः। ॐ सरस्वत्यै नमः। ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। अखण्डमण्डलाकारम् व्याप्तं येन चराचरम् तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। Let us take in Shivashakti with 5 deep breaths. Om Shivashakti Om. 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 त्वं ब्रह्मा सृष्टिकर्ता च त्वं विष्णु परिपालकः त्वं शिव शिवदोऽनन्तः सर्वसंहारकारकः त्वमीश्वरो गुणातीतो ज्योतिरूपः सनातनः प्रकृतिशश्च प्राकृत प्रकृतिः परः नानारूपविधाता त्वं भक्तानां ध्यानहेतवे येषु रूपेषु यत्प्रीतिः तत्तद्रूपं बिभर्षि च। चन्दशाखि शिखान्वितैः द्विजवरैः संसेविते शाश्वते सौख्यापादिनि खेदभेदिनि सुधासारैः फलैर्दीपिते चेतः पक्षिशिखामणे त्यज वृथा सञ्चारमन्यैरलम् नित्यं शङ्करपादपद्मयुगली नीडे विहारं कुरु. Here in this verse, our great Shankaracharya is referring to addressing the mind as Chetah Pakshi. Chetah is that Sukshma Sharira, whole Anthakarana, which we call in general mind. Chetah Pakshi. So mind is a bird. Chetah Pakshi Shikhamane. Oh, the kingly bird, Shikhamane, the king of all birds, Shikhamane. Chetah Pakshi Tyaja Vritha Sanchara Manyairalam. You are wandering here and there, everywhere. Tyaja, leave it. Nityam, all the time. Nityam. Shankara Pada Padma Yugali. Shankara is that Shiva. His Pada, the feet, which are like Padma, the lotus feet. Yugali means the 2 feet, which is like Nida. Nida means the nest. The bird lives in the nest and it hovers around the nest. So, in this Nide, in this nest called Shankara Pada Padma Yugali. So, O Chetah Pakshi, roaming around here and there, all over the place in the world, on different trees. Leave that. O Chetah Pakshi, always, Nityam, Nide, that is Shankara Pada Padma Yugali Nide. Establish yourself, rest, reside in the nest called Shankara Pada Padma. There, Viharam Kuru. Happily you can go around that nest and reside in that nest. Viharam Kuru. What type of environment you will get when you are doing the vihara around that nest, when you are staying in that nest? What type of nest is that? Where is it? Which is the tree? Chandha Shakhi Shikhanvitaihi. It is the big tree which is called Veda. In that, there are different branches. Chanda Shakhi, that is the lower branch. There are so many different lower branches which are called Chanda. Shikhanvitaihi. Other, like the crest, the jewel of the crest, the crown, that is upper branches, which are Upanishads. All these shakhas are there, beautifully decorated, By what? Dvijavaraihi samsevite. Dvijavara, the great. Dvija. Vara is the great. Dvijaihi. Dvija is all the Vedic Pandits, all the knowledgeable ones in Veda, one who has sipped the essence of Veda. They are Dvija. Dvija also means the bird. Dvijavaraihi samsevite. They are cherishing, savoring being in that tree. Shashvate Saukhyapadini Kheda Bhedini Sudhasaraihi Palai Deepite. And the tree is glowing with so many fruits. Palaihi. That phala, the fruits, how are they? What are they? Shashvate. They are the eternal fruits on the tree, which are hanging to the shakha, the different branches. They are eternal fruits. Saukhyapadini, that which gives the bliss, happiness, all the saukhya, the comfort we need in this world and in the beyond world. Kheda Bhedini, and it takes away all the sorrow. Kheda Bhedini. Sudha Saraihi, and the juice in that fruit is Sudha, which is nectar-like. So, why don't you stay in that nest for ever and ever? Nityam. Cheta Pakshi Shikhamani. So, Cheta Pakshi, the bird which is kingly, the king of all birds, which is Manas. Because it can also fly far and high and everywhere. So because it has that capacity, it can fly in the water, in all the Panchabhutas. That Manas is kingly. And that too, Chetha Pakshi Shikhamane. It is like a jewel. Shikhamani, the greatest. Why? How? With all noble qualities in it, noble values which that mind is following. All the good qualities in it. That kind of Chetha Pakshi you are. O mind. Chandhas Shaki, which are the lower branches of Vedas. In the same way, Upanishads are Shikhanvitaihi, which are upper branches. Upanishads. Dvijavaraihi samsevite. It is savored, cherished by Dvija. Here we can understand two meanings of Dvija. Twice born. Dvija. The birds, fish, snake, they are all called Dvija because first time they are born when the egg is laid. That is first time taking birth in the egg. When the egg hatches and it comes out, that is the second birth. So birds, snake, fish, they are all called Dvija. In the same way, even the human being, we are all in Hiranyagarbha. All of us, all creatures. The whole manifestation, the second circle is Hiranyagarbha. It is the golden egg, which is huge. In that we are all there. So that means we are all still in the egg. When the Veda Panditas, who have drunk the essence of the real truth of Vedas, which is the experience of that Paramatma, having the Atma Jnana, they become realized and they are born second time. So those people are called Dvijas. Now imagine this tree, Veda. There are so many branches which is filled with knowledge of different kinds and different levels. And the phala, the fruits which it is bearing, is eternal, sudha, and it gives the happiness, bliss, saukhya padini, and it takes away the kheda, the sorrow, because it is giving the knowledge what this world is, what the reality is of every being. So it is sudhasara. When it is available to you, O mind, why are you unnecessarily, vritha, unnecessarily? You are flying everywhere. Tyaja, leave that. Vritha sanchara manyehi. Alam, it is enough. That means be grounded in the feet of Shiva, which is lotus. So that is the essence of this shloka. Actually, all the shlokas which we have studied till now, and also few more in future, Shankaracharya is giving so many analogies and examples, similes, between the objects or the manifestation in this world with Shiva or Shivapada. Why is it? That too very poetically. Is it to show his expertise in poetry, in kavitva? What is it? Why is he just pouring out so much? Is it the arrogant expression? So if we think and understand, Shankaracharya is standing right in front of Mallikarjuna Swami, who is with Brahmaramba. It is Swayambhu Linga and also Shakti Pita. Both together, how gorgeous, powerful that place itself is, the surrounding. On top of it, his mind is totally reciprocative and it is receiving all the blessings. What he is experiencing, his joy, he wants to express it. That expression is coming out with so much of joy that he's seeing Shiva, Shivapada, in all the things which he is seeing around. So he's experiencing the presence of Shiva in each and every objects which he is seeing through the physical eyes. The physical eyes, what they are seeing around, is taken as the analogy, and what he is seeing in the Jnana Chakshu as that Parabrahman Shiva, he is seeing the similarity. How fortunate he is, and how fortunate we are to be able to enjoy that. So, we don't know which shloka, which vision, which scene, or which picture hits our inner heart and pushes up to go more towards Shiva. None of us know. So, it is really important that we contemplate and visualize on every shloka what Shankaracharya is expressing his joy, sharing his joy. So, of all the shlokas, maybe one or two will really click with us, that it will take us to heights. So pay attention and contemplate on it. It is a beautiful exercise which will turn out as Shivananda. And once we have the taste of it, that Shivananda will start flowing in every shloka. We start enjoying every analogy. So go deep into it, contemplate, take your time. Even if you study just one shloka per day, it's fine. But contemplate on it, that is important. And visualize it. It gives so much of joy. आकीर्णे नखराजिकान्ति विभवैः उद्यत्सुधा वैभवैः आधौ तेऽपि च पद्मरागललिते हंसव्रजैराश्रिते नित्यं भक्तिवधूगणैश्च रहसि स्वेच्छाविहारं कुरु स्थित्वा मानसराजहंस गिरिजानाथाङ्घ्रिसौधान्तरे. In this, Shiva's Angri, his lotus feet, who is Girijanatha, his lotus feet are experienced as Saudha, that is palace. So his feet is accommodative because it is unlimited space for the mind to roam around. Mind itself is unlimited. If that has to move around, stay, the pada has to be much bigger, which is like a palace with no limitation of any space or limitation of any kind. So that is the palace Shiva Pada, that Shiva is Girijanatha. So let us see what it is. Nityam Bhakti Vadhuganaihi Rahasi Svecha Viharam Kuru. O mind, you are that Rajahamsa. Being Rajahamsa, secretively you go and enjoy the maidens who are serving that Girijanatha Pada. They are none other than Bhakti. So here Shankaracharya is experiencing that maidens as Bhakti, Navavida Bhakti. So it looks like all are different, in different ways they are all serving. They are all savoring the presence of Shiva in his pada. So Rahasi, secretly you also go there. Enjoy their company. They are beautiful. They are enjoyable. They are joyous. So you will also become joyous. Go. Nityam, the two. They are there eternally. Nitya. So you also stay with them. Nitya. Bhakti vadhu ganeshcha rahasi swecha. As much as you love, as your mind feels, as you feel, just enjoy them. Swecha. And viharam kuru. Be with them, move around with them. Oh, Rajahamsa. And what type of saudha is that? Sthitva Manasa Rajahamsa. They, you stay there itself, establish yourself. Oh, Manasa Rajahamsa. Oh, the mind, which is Rajahamsa, the king of all the swans. Girijanatha Angri. Saudha Antare. Inside that Shiva Pada. Girijanatha Angri. In that lotus feet. So don't be in the surface level. Antare. Go within that, because that Shiva Pada is accommodating in such a way that you can go inside as well. Because it is like Saudha. There is so much to discover, so much to savor. So go within. Go inside that. Akirne nakharajikanti vibhavaihi. And when you go there, you see that the nails are emitting the bright light, which is white. Kanti. Kanti means it is radiant, it is bright, it is emitting, and it is filling the whole place. The whole palace is filled with that bright light, filled with that sharp, bright light. Not only that, Udyat Sudha Vaibhavaihi Adhaute. And the tip of the nail looks like Udyat Sudha, that is the crescent moon, which is just rising moon, which is crescent. From that also, it is giving out that calm, pleasant whiteness. That is also everywhere. Not only that, Padmaraga Lalite, and the lotus feet, it is also emitting that redness of lotus. So the combination of the feet, which are lotus, so red, and the nails and the nail tips, which are like the crescent moon, are giving rise to the bright light as well as the pleasant light of the moon, moonlight. Both are there. And it looks so enjoyable, that Hamsa Prajairashrite. All this Hamsa Braja, Hamsa, Yatis, great seers and sages are called Hamsa, who are all the time greatly involved in Hamsa Dhyana, that is Shiva Shakti, Shiva Shakti, Shiva Shakti. Other than that, they are doing nothing. They are just sipping, they are just breathing, they are just doing the dhyana, meditation on that Hamsa, Shivashakti. So they are filled with that Hamsa, Shivashakti, and they have become Hamsa, they have become Shivashakti. So they are yatis, the seers, the sages of great nobility. Vrajaihi, that means the group of all these yatis are also taking refuge in that pada, which is like saudha. So the mind will have good satsanga, good company. Because of that, O Rajahamsa, the mind, go to that saudha and live there. And all this bhakti of different kinds are running around. Gloriously, they are serving the Shiva Pada. And Girijanatha, that means the feet, that Saudha has both Shiva and Shakti. So all the yatis and the seers are taking ashraya in that pada. It is not just the Shiva or it is not just the Shakti, but both together. How nice it is. Girijanatha, here also it means, as Shankaracharya has said it in Shiva Manasa Puja, Atmatvam Girija Matihi. So the combination of both Shiva and Shakti is very much needed for the seeker's mind to go in that direction of attaining Atma Vidya or Brahma Vidya. So the blessings of both Shiva and Shakti is there. And Sthitva Rahasi Svecha Viharam Kuru. Why that secret Rahasi? Because the mind is progressing, it is taking its journey to go within in a very secretive way. If I say my mind, even I will not be understand what it is, how it is taking. It is a surprise all of a sudden. Wow. Have I traveled so much? Wow. Is this what I have achieved? And others can never make out what it is. So this Rajahamsa is secretively going within, staying in the palace called Girijanatha Angri, and it is enjoying that solitude. That Rajahamsa is experiencing that solitude, ekanta. So it looks secretive because it is not available for all others to see it, observe it, judge it. Not possible. So you go there to give you company. Bhakti is very much available, and they are beautiful maidens. Enjoy. And they are of different kinds. Navavidha. Enjoy totally. Shambhudhyana Vasanta Sangini Hridara Megha Jirnechhadaha Srasta Bhaktilata Chhata Vilasita Punya Pravala Shrita Deepyante Gunakoraka Japavachha Pushpani Sadvasana Jnanananda Sudha Maranda Lahari Samvit Phalabhyunnati. Again, Shankaracharya is stressing, highlighting, projecting the importance of bhakti, the devotion. Shambhudhyana Vasanta Sangini. Vasanta Sangini. The spring season is so addictive and it is so desirous. It is addictive and desirous. So, for that, Bhaktilata, Shambhudhyana. Shambhudhyana is that Vasanta. It is the Vasanta season, the spring season. Shambhudhyana Vasanta Sangini. Hridarame Aghajirna Chadaha Svatsta. Hridarame. And in the spring season, which is so desirous and addictive, in the park, which is called Hrit, in the heart as the park, Arama is park. Aghajirna Chadaha Srasta. All the dry leaves which are which are hanging loosely, those leaves being the papa, agha, the sinful karmas which are hanging, are all dried up and falling down. So, Hridarama, this park, has that Shambhudhyana Vasanta. The spring has arrived in the form of Shambhudhyana. That Shambhudhyana is also very addictive and desirous. Once we experience the joy of meditating on Shiva, we feel like going more and more and more into that meditative mode. So that is the spring season, being in dhyana of Shiva. So in that, Hridarame, the park has become lively. It is alive now. With all the leaves, the dry leaves called papa, are gone. It is but natural. They all have fallen down because the spring has come. Shambhudhyana has come. They all have fallen on their own. Bhakti Lata Chhata. And that Bhakti Lata, the creeper called Bhakti, has formed the canopy. Chata means the canopy in that park, which is called heart. Hrida Rame Bhakti Lata Chata. That Bhakti Lata, the creeper of Bhakti, devotion, has formed a beautiful canopy where Punya Pravala Shritaha, the small nodules which are like red in color, Punya Pravala, the Punya, the good virtues of the mind, Bhakti, is clinging like the nodules which are coming up very freshly in that spring. It's a beautiful sight, beautiful sight. And it is so soft, delicate, no one will feel like touching it also, the nodule, when we see it in spring. Just then, it is giving rise to the fresh new nodule. That fresh new nodule is that punya. Vilasitaha, they are all shining. So, when we have experienced that winter, snow, and dry tree without any leaves, and the spring has just arrived, and you see the red nodules coming very delicately, soft, that is punya. And as the days goes in that spring, Shambhudhyana, Deepyante Gunakoraka, the good traits, the good qualities, the noble values, like the buds start Deepyante, start showing up on that canopy. And as it progresses more, the time-wise, the experience-wise, the knowledge-wise, as that Bhakti Lata, the creeper Bhakti, grows, Japavacha Pushpani, the flowers in the form of Japa, it blossoms and it is filled with Sadvasana, good fragrance. With good fragrance. Jnanananda Sudha Maranda Lahari. And that flower is filled with Jnanananda Sudha. The nectar in that is Jnana Ananda. Jnana is giving rise to Ananda. And Ananda is making that Jnana to grow more. So they are helping one another. Jnana and Ananda. Contemplate on it. Once we get the Jnana, automatically Ananda fills. Because there is Ananda, it is giving rise to revelation of many more things. So that becomes Jnanananda, becomes the nectar in that flower, which is Maranda, which is like honey, which is so sweet. Maranda. And is it just one drop? No. This pushpa of Bhakti Lata, it is Lahari, like waves, it keeps oozing out from the flower. There is no end to it. The waves keep coming. Jnanananda Sudha Maranda Lahari. Samvit phalabhyunnati. By this, prajnana, the true knowledge, Atma Vidya, Brahma Vidya, as phala, the fruit, abhyunnatihi, that grows. So it is complete in the sense, once we grow that bhakti lata in the park called Hridaya, in our Anthakarana, in the spring season, that is in the Shambhu Dhyana, naturally that bhakti lata grows and grows and grows and grows and form its own canopy, and with nodules which are like the punya, and gradually grows into the buds with good noble qualities, and that blossoms as japa pushpa, with jnana ananda as its nectar, which is like honey, very sweet, and it keeps oozing so much. So that is the beauty of this shloka. And that to see, in spring season, no one has to do anything. The leaves are not there at all. Everything is fallen. And it is ready to blossom. So even Papa, when the spring arrives, that means when a person gets into that Shambhu Dhyana, Shambhu is the one who does always the auspicious things. Auspiciousness is that Shambhu. If one is contemplating on him, one who is meditating on him, naturally he is having the spring, which is addictive and desirous. So the spring will be forever and ever and ever. He will not see the winter. And he gets the phala. So bhakti lata, growing that in our heart, in our park, is important. Nityanandarasalayam Suramuniswantambujatashrayam Swachham Sadvijasevitam Kalushahrit Sadvasana Vishkritam Shambhudhyana Sarovaram Vrajamanoham Savatam Sasthiram Kim Kshudrashraya Palvala Brahmana Sanjata Shramam Prapsyasi. Shankaracharya is driving, pushing that manas, the mind, which is the Hamsa, Hamsavatamsa, which is again the Raja Hamsa, asking that Mano Hamsavatamsa Sthiram, to stay always, eternally in Shambhudhyana Sarovaram, a pure lake, which is called Shambhudhyana. Once the mind goes into that Shiva, automatically it becomes very calm, clean, and beautiful. So, Shambhudhyana Sarovaram Braja. Go to that Shambhudhyana Sarovara. O Mano Hamsava Tamsa Sthiram. And stay there always. Kim, for what reason? And what will you, Prabhupada says here, what will you get by Kshudrashraya Palvala Brahmana Sanjata Shramam? When you go from the shallow of lower kind of puddles here and there and here and there in the world, Brahmana, by you going to all these puddles like attractions, you are only suffering. It is only painful to you. It is only a strain. What do you get? Why do you want to get that pain unnecessarily? Why don't you stay? Why don't you go reach that Shambhudhyana Sarovara? How is that Sarovara? Nityananda Rasalayam. It is the Sarovara, is the Alaya. Alaya means it is the base for the pure water which is emitting Nityananda. Shambhudhyana is the Sarovara which is accommodating the water, which is holding the water, which is bearing the water, called Nityananda. Nityananda Rasa. Rasa is that water. And it is the ashraya, it is the refuge, it is the place where Sura Muni Swantambujata. Ambujata is the lotus flower which is born in the water. What is that? It is the mind of Sura, all the devatas, and Muni, the sages. So, this Sarovara is the refuge for the lotus mind of all the devatas, gods, and also the sages. They are all taking ashraya in that Shambhudhyana Sarovara, which is Swachham. It is pure. It is pure water. It is not like Samsara, which is Panka, which is muddy, murky. No. It is Swachha. It is pure, filled with Nityananda water. Satvija Sevitam. Even good-minded Dvija, all the ones who are realized, they also are savoring being in that Sarovara. Kalusha Hrit, which has destroyed all the impurities. Kalusha is impurity. There's no kalmasha at all, no impurity at all. Satvasana Vishkritam, which is filled, Avishkrita, which is filled with all noble qualities. So, why don't you go to that Sarovara? Why are you unnecessarily taking the pain of going around, seeking refuge, not in that beautiful Sarovara, but in the puddle, which is murky, isn't it? even in this physical world, to get away from some temporary difficulties, temporary situations, or to make quick money, quick wealth, or quick status. We get into such relationships or such situations going after those objects, thinking that they will give the wholesome happiness. But we don't realize that it is not the Sarovara. It is only a small, shallow puddle, which is murky and too muddy. You will not, once you enter into that, you will not come back clean. You will come back with some kind of pain. So, temporarily fixing something with the help of this kind of puddles will not help you. O Manasa Rajahamsa. No point in going around the world. O Manasa Rajahamsa. Braja, get into that, reach out to that Sarovara, which is Shambhudhyana. There you will get that peace, happiness, all the wealth you need, which are needed for you to grow. Everything is there in that Sarovara. Why do you want to go through the pain unnecessarily? Sanjata Shramam. Shramam is that strain. Why do you want to? Anandamrita Purita Harapadam Bhojala Valodyata Sthairyopagnamupetya Bhaktilatika Shakhopashakhanvita Uchchairmanasakayamana Akramya Nishkalmasha Nityabhishta Phalaprada Bhavatu me Satkarma Samvardhita. Again, Shankaracharya is talking about Bhakti Latika, the special creeper, divine creeper, everlasting creeper, Bhakti. Bhakti is very much needed even to a beginner, even to the realized person, even to the persons who are in the middle of their journey. Why and how? Devotion is the total focus, single-minded love towards the single goal. That is bhakti. Because we are showing bhakti, that kind of single-minded focus with love, with passion towards the objects of the world, towards people, we are getting the happiness, we are getting that joy, which is very temporary. Once we get that object, the devotion towards that becomes lesser. As the supply increases, the demand decreases. That's the experience of this worldly devotion. Whereas, when the devotion is towards seeking the very source, Atma, that single-minded devotion or the focus with love becomes more and more and more and more. It keeps growing. In the process, it is also giving us the jnana. So once that bhakti and jnana, which are the two wings of Rajahamsa, becomes stronger and stronger, imagine how high one can go. Rajahamsa has the capacity to fly very far and high, and it also flies very fast, both in the air as well as in the water. And also discriminatory faculty is also very sharp. So these are the things which a seeker needs in his mind. That is why Shankaracharya is referring to mind as Rajahamsa, Rajahamsa in so many shlokas. In what way we can apply it? When the devotion becomes stronger and grows like the canopy, no doubt it will be bearing knowledge, Ananda, Sudha as the fruit. So when both bhakti and jnana become very strong in the seeker's mind, naturally that goal will also become within. So that bhakti will be there, that single-minded focus with love. But the jnana comes, everything is happening within me. So even in that Advaita Bhava, it is having that bhakti within. That is why he said, in Shivapada, bhakti or serving. Are you understanding? That Shivapada is also within. All the bhakti as 9 maids are serving him. And jnana, ananda, that moksha, the liberation, is also experienced within only. That's nothing but Advaita Bhakti. I am going through it within. But uttering the word Bhakti. But everything is happening within. So Bhakti is also very much needed, which is giving strength to the jnana to take higher steps. So, Anandamrita Purita, it is that Bhakti Latika is filled with Anandamrita. It is so juicy, it is so fleshy with Ananda as the nectar in that Bhakti Latika, in that creeper called Bhakti. How is it that it has Ananda, Amrita as the juice in it, the whole creeper? Because Harapadam Bhoja Alavalodyata. It has grown, it has come up from the water basin. Alavala means the water basin called Harapada. So when it has taken birth from that Harapada as the water base, naturally it should be filled with nothing but Ananda Amrita. Stairyopagna Upaitya. That is, that for that creeper to go up, grow higher and taller, it needs a support. For that, the pole is Sthairya. Sthairya means the combination of firmness, steadiness, patience. Once that is there in the mind as the pole, naturally that Bhakti Latika grows, winds up and grows up beautifully. Shakhopa Shakhanvita, and it gives rise to the branches as well. Uchchair Manasa Kayamana Patalim Akramya. And that Shakha, the different branches, have reached the roof called Manasa. Kayamana means the top cover. So if the mind is like this, the bhakti has started growing up. Having reached the top, it has covered the whole mind. The whole mind is covered with that bhakti latika. And nishkalmasha, because of that, there is no impurity at all. The whole mind, when it is covered with that bhakti, devotion, nothing else can exist. Automatically it withers, it falls down. So it is nishkalmasha. Nityabhishta palaprada. And this bhakti latika, it bears the fruits which gives nitya abhishta phala prada. It gives the fruit of the eternal desire. Nitya abhishta. Abhishta means the wish, the desire. So what is the desire of that seeker? What is the eternal desire? To seek the source from where he came. Even Brahma, when he was sitting on the lotus alone and everything else is there, no one to be seen, and all of a sudden he sees the lotus flower. And I'm sitting on that as Brahma. From where has this lotus come? I don't know. So he started searching for that. And he found that the stalk was connected to the navel of Vishnu. So even to him, finding the source, seeking the source, which is Parabrahman, Atma, the self, that is Nityabhishta. Seeking the source. Where is it? Is it somewhere there? No, it is very much within. Very much within. So, Nityabhishta Palaprada. This bhakti latika gives the fruit. What is that fruit? It shows us the jnana. It gives the jnana to go within and seek that self, the source, which is Nityabhishta, the eternal desire of every seeker. to see who am I. Nanu yaru. Nanu. Aham. 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 Who is that? Who is that I? What is that real I? Isn't it? So that this Bhakti Latika, that fruit it bears and prada it gives. It is not just holding to itself. No, prada it gives. So the source for all these things is bhakti. Once we have that bhakti, naturally that Bhakti Latika gives the fruit. Bhavatu me sat karma samvardhita. And because of this fruit, let it give me more and more opportunities. Let this be, Bhakti Latika be the cause of me getting involved into many good deeds, virtuous deeds. It does happen. When that bhakti becomes part of us, maybe for the first few years, I want to grow. I want this. I want to feel it. I want to experience it. That I will be there. So that bhakti, when we start reaping the fruit of that karma of doing the worshipping, praying, meditating, contemplating, it gives rise to the next level where we grow. I have to share it with others, to the whole family, to all the friends, and to the whole society, and to the whole world. So like that, it keeps growing. That bhakti which started as, I want to have devotion, bhakti, for achieving this for my own sake, becomes much bigger and bigger and bigger. Sat karma samvardhita. This is how it grows. It makes a person to grow immensely and become the universal person, Vishwamanava. So when that person, Vishwamanava, looks at the whole world, other people, other creatures, plants, their mind responds to the pain, sorrow, joy of all others, and they feel for it. And they start doing something good for all of them. See how the whole world becomes his own self and he takes care of the whole world. That is samvardhita. Let it grow, let it become more and more and more. That's satkarma. Satkarma samvardhita bhavatu me. Let it happen to me. Imagine if Shankaracharya is experiencing that kind of desire in him. What a beautiful path he is paving for all of us. Doing Sashtanga Namaskara to Shankaracharya, we should just follow him. So let us pray. Shankaracharya as Guru and Shivashakti to give us that opportunity in our life. Sandhyarambha vijrumbhitam Shrutishirasthanantaradhishtitam Saprema Bhramarabhiramam Asatkrit Sadvasana Shobhitam भोगीन्द्राभरणं समस्तसुमनः पूज्यं गुणाविष्कृतम् सेवे श्रीगिरिमल्लिकार्जुन महालिङ्गं शिवालिङ्गितम्. Now Shankaracharya is very temporarily realizing that he is right in front of Mallikarjuna. He had gone to some other experience, and now he is uttering or expressing the words Seve Shri Giri Mallikarjuna Mahalingam Shivalingitam. It's a beautiful shloka. I don't know why people have not considered all these Shivanandalahari shlokas as mantra, which I find they are all mantric, because they have the capacity to transport us to a much higher and different dimension of Shiva. So I personally feel they are all mantras. Very good support and the goal for anyone to contemplate and meditate on Shiva. They give very good support, guidance. And in this shloka again, the same words, but it is referring to the Arjuna tree, Arjuna Vriksha, as well as Shiva. So let us see it first as Arjuna tree. Arjuna tree is huge and it has medicinal value a lot. In Ayurveda, they consider Arjuna tree in the highest pedestal for all hridroga, that is problems with the heart, or even to bring down the cholesterol level, bad cholesterol level. They use the parts of this Arjuna tree, and to many other reasons it is used as medicine. Apart from that, it has the spiritual significance also. Arjuna tree. Sandhyarambha Vijrumbhitam. This Arjuna tree blossoms with the flowers in the Sandhya, in the twilight time. So on that Arjuna tree, the flowers blossom at the time of Sandhya. Sandhyarambha Vijrumbhitam. The tree is there. At the beginning, Arambha, the minute Sandhya Kala starts, all the flowers start blossoming. Shruti Shirasthanantara Adhishtitam. And all the seekers and the devotees who go to the temple, they keep that Arjuna flowers. Shruti means the ears, behind the ears. It can be as prasada or it can be as decoration, but it is kept there. Shruti, Shira, Sthana, Antara, in between head and the ear. That is keeping it here somewhere. Saprema Brahmarabhiramam Asakrit. Always the bees keep roaming around, being attracted with passion, with love. They keep hovering around Arjuna tree. Sadvasana shobhitam, and the whole tree with the flowers giving such nice fragrance. Bhogindra bharanam, and Bhogi is the one who is the pleasure hunter in this world. Bhogindra abharanam. They use it as abharana, as decoration on them. Samasta sumana pujyam. It looks like samasta sumana. That means all types of flowers, all flowers. Pujyam. They are all worshipping, adoring, praying, praising this Arjuna flower. Gunavishkritam. It has in abundance. Guna means the colors, the fragrance, and the shapes. Everything is there in that Arjuna tree. It is just in abundance. Gunavishkritam. Seve, I do cherish Sri Giri Mallikarjuna, which is very much there in that Shaila, in that mountain or Giri, the hill, which is Sri Giri, which is auspicious. That hill is auspicious. There, this Arjuna tree is there. And I cherish that tree, Arjuna tree. Mahalingam, and it is a great significance being there in that place. It is symbolic. It is standing there. And Shivalingitam. It is surrounded by the creeper like Mallika. Mallika is Shiva. That is Parvati, Shakti. So Arjuna tree is there. And it is surrounded by, it is wound by Shiva. That is Mallika, the jasmine flowers. The creeper of the jasmine is surrounding this tree. So that means Shivashakti, both are there in the form of that Arjuna tree and the Mallika. Now let us see what it says when we take it in the aspect of Shiva, when it refers to Shiva. Sandhyarambha vijrumbhitam. When it is Sandhya Kala, Shiva becomes energetic. At the time of Sandhya, he becomes energetic and he dances Sandhya Tandava. Not only that, Sandhya is the time which is very precarious, important, and it has to be watched. It has to be watched because the power of Maya, illusion, is so high, and if one becomes the victim of that Sandhya Maya, one can get into the activities of negative activities because of the ignorance and get into the darkness, which is ignorance. So at that time, Shiva, the consciousness, is Vijrumbhitam. He is there to protect the seeker, the mind of the seeker. But we have to be attentive towards that. We have to worship that Shiva, the consciousness. So if the mind is connected with Shiva at that Sandhya Kala, we will not get into the grip of that Maya, whose power is very, very strong in Sandhya, that twilight. Sandhyarambha Vijrumbhitam Shruti Shirasthana Antaradhishtitam. Shruti, Veda, its Shira is Upanishad. He is there in the middle as Shiva. So he is very much giving his protection to both Vedas and the Upanishad, and he is very much adhishtitam. He is established in the Upanishads. Saprema Brahmarabhiramam Asatkrit. Always Brahmaramba, that is Shakti, which is love, who is lovingly around him. Saprema Brahmarabhiramam. He is so happy. Abhiramam. He is at ease. He is with joy because of the constant company of that Devi, Shakti, who is in the form of Brahmaramba in that place. Sadvasana Shobhitam. Sadvasana Shobhitam. One who is Shobhita, one who is decorated with Sadvasana. What is that Sadvasana for Shiva? He is beyond any Vasana. What is it? What is Shankaracharya is telling here? His Vasana is Sat-Chit Ananda. That is his Vasana, which is Sadvasana. And he is decorated with it. Bhogindra Bharanam. He is wearing Bhogindra, that is the snake. He is wearing it as Alankara, as necklace, one of the jewels. Samasta Sumana Pujyam. Here Sumana is all the Devas, Devatas, one who has good mind. Samasta, all good minded people, Devatas, Pujyam, they all worship him. He is worshipped by them. Gunavishkritam, one who has all the good traits, that is auspiciousness, Mangala. He has that. Seve, I bow down, I cherish, I adore. Sri Giri Mallikarjuna, who is in the form of Swayambhu Linga in Sri Shaila. Mahalingam, he is Mahalinga. Linga means a symbol which signifies something. Linga, it is a pointer, a sign. Shivalinga is the linga, the sign which shows the presence of Shiva in it. Shivalinga. Okay. Pullinga, Strilinga. It is the sign that it is Purusha. It is the sign that it is woman. So Linga. Shivalinga means the sign which shows that it is Shiva. That means the presence of Shiva in that sign. Mahalinga, the sign of being one with that Parabrahman. Maha. So, who is non-separated from that Parabrahman, and that linga itself is that Parabrahman. So he's referred here as Mahalingam, who is Shivalingitam. He is embraced by Shiva. That comes in Lalita Sahasranama also. Shiva, Shivashakti and Guru at the last one. So that Shiva refers to Devi, Shakti. She is embracing. So, Alingita. What can we understand? Shiva is there as Sthana. He's just there with that shape of linga. He cannot stand on its own in that linga form. He needs that Pita, which is Shakti. How is it? This shape, Alingika. That Vedi, Linga Vedi is that support, which is Shakti. So it is looking like Shankaracharya is experiencing that Linga itself as Shiva is there and Shakti is embracing him. Here, what we can understand is, even in Alingana, there are different types. Bhima Lingana happened between Dhritarashtra and Bhima. How? After Bhima killed Duryodhana, he came to pay obeisance to Dhritarashtra. But Krishna had placed the iron doll which resembled Bhima a lot. And Dhritarashtra, who didn't have the eyes, he thought he is embracing Bhima, but with so much of vengeance in him. He was so furious. And his embrace of Bhima made that pillar like strong iron doll just smashed. That is Bhima Lingana, which is not not at all taken by anyone, or no one wants it. Whereas Rama Lingana, the embrace of Rama, is very gentle with lots of love. That we studied in the previous one, when he hugged Hanuman, that embrace was so soothing, loving, that a person like Hanuman felt Rama has taken Hanuman in himself. That feeling is beautiful and everyone wants it. Rama Lingana. Here it is Shiva Lingana. How will Shakti embrace Shiva? She is oozing with motherly affection towards Shiva. She wants to support him. And also she wants to show that wifely love towards him. Because she's one with that Shiva in so many different aspects, in different forms. She has the relationship with Shiva in this manifested world. So that Linga, Shiva Lingita Mahalinga, is a very beautiful concept. if we can contemplate on it. It's a beautiful concept. And Arjuna tree, I would like to say this story and then I'll stop. Shiva is sthanu, that which doesn't move. It is just there, inert. So Shiva was like that, and he was in the form of that Arjuna tree in the tree Shaila. It is one of the legendary story, but it has so much of meaning. So when the hunters, for their firewood, they cut off the tree, it became inert and it was about to die. And it was just there, even though it was the incarnation of Shiva. Looking at this tree bleeding, all the hunters got frightened and they ran away. Parvati, feeling sorrow for what Shiva is going through, she said, I have to help him in some way or the other. And she took the form of the creeper, Mallika creeper. And she started winding that Arjuna tree. The minute she started winding up, slowly, the nodules, the leaves, branches, flowers, everything started blossoming. And it came back into life. So because of this, that place became so energized with the presence of Shivashakti in the form of that tree and the creeper, which is the presence of both. And it is the place of Shakti Pita as well as Swayambhu Linga. So it is very precious Sri Shaila Giri. That is why this Mahalinga is there. And Shankaracharya is experiencing it, and not only experiencing, is also expressing his joy and his experience with such profundity that it is leading us, guiding us, even after so many centuries. Shivashakti, Shivashakti, Shivashakti Om. Shivashakti, Shivashakti, Shivashakti Om. Shivashakti, Shivashakti, Shivashakti Om. Shivashakti, Shivashakti, Shivashakti Om. Shivashakti, Shivashakti, Shivashakti Om.